All right, guys.
And we're back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. I'm your host, Brian Barnaby, and Tony is in the building. What's going on, man?
Today, dude.
We're
Not
both
much,
hurting. We know it.
Sulking. We're sulking
We'll
today.
talk about it. We'll go into detail. And, of course, our super producer, Mike. What's going on, man?
I'm not sad.
No, you're not sad.
We'll get into that
Yes, we will.
as well. And I'd like to thank everyone for joining us on Optimum and Frontier. In our bio, we do have the channels listed. And thank you to Soundview Media. And now we are going to start in the world of Major League Baseball.
Giving chases Judge, and he dives into the stand.
DeGrom begins the season with an overpowering strikeout of Ronald Acuna.
The wall, it's gone! Three-run home run! What's going on here? I love it. He drives one to the moon. High, deep, and very gone.
And, you know, I know we always start with the Yankees, but really this is one of those situations where, you know, we'll cover the Yankees and the Mets games from last night. It's kind of like when you're in class and you have to present and you really are just dreading it, but you might as well just get it over with, right?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Raise your hand, go up first, get it over with, and you can just watch everyone else suffer,
Yeah. So, you know, on that note, the Yankees do put up another dud last night, and they lose to the Braves 4-1. And they have now scored 3 runs or less, 7 out of the last 8 games, which for a team like the Yankees, I mean, they're called the Bronx Bombers for a reason. They're known for their offense, and it is just not there. The 1 run was scored in the bottom of the 9th inning, so they went the whole game, and they had some opportunities. I mean, DJ LeMahieu was up, bases loaded in the 7th. I was thinking, is this finally the breakthrough rally? Nope. Ground out. So he went 0 for 5 yesterday. Urshela leaves the game with a back injury. I haven't seen any updates on that. Hopefully it's just a little tweak, nothing major. But, yeah, you just look at them batting overall. 5 of 31 yesterday, 6 strikeouts, 18 left on base. You can't win games that way. You can't score. You can't win.
Game. Yeah,
I mean, it's that simple.
It really is, and it's a shame. I mean, I think maybe yesterday I was focusing a little bit more on Kluber because obviously the Yankees bats haven't been there. I didn't really expect them to show up necessarily last night. But, I mean, Kluber just – I mean, he was a dud, dude. I didn't think he wasn't throwing anything crazy. Like, he did all right, 4 2/3 innings pitched, only 2 strikeouts. He had 4 walks. He walked 3, I guess.
3 in the fifth inning.
Yeah,
so before he got pulled.
And I don't know, man. He just wasn't throwing anything crazy. Like, his velocity is down. I feel like he has some control problems.
He tops at 90.
Yeah, man. Like,
and he just nibbles around the corners, and it's not fun to watch. It's annoying.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't seem like you're getting value out of this 1 year, $11 million contract.
And he doesn't seem fired up. He does not seem excited to be out there.
He's always had a poker face. I mean, that's always kind of been him. But it's just a shell of the guy who's a multiple-time Cy Young Award
which is
winner.
a shame.
It is, because we really could use him. And I was somewhat optimistic, even though it wasn't pretty. But the first 4 innings were relatively smooth. I think he only had 1 strikeout, but it was just, he got through it. Pitch count was manageable. And then he has like a 35-40 pitch inning, and they pull him before the 5th's over. So once again, we can't get 5 out of him, and we can't score 5 runs. So you're going to win that way.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. It's tough out there for the Yankees right now.
So it's 6-11. It's the worst start since 1991, and if they've beat me up so much, I feel like I am a Detroit Tigers fan starting September, and we've already lost 100 games. That's how I feel right now.
Oh
honestly.
my gosh,
that's really how I feel. It's really tough. And
Tulino
99. I mean, they stink right now. And the Mets, I mean, they've performed a little better, but very inconsistent, of course. But it's a long season, so you just hope that they turn it around. But it's just like with this hitting, I don't know. I mean, is it really that simple that everybody's just pushing and stretching themselves, and that's all it is?
I don't know. It's tough, man. I mean, it just doesn't seem like as a team they're in it. They just don't seem all there right now.
No fire.
There's like no fire,
buzz.
no drive,
no buzz,
dude. Like,
right.
It's I don't know if it's something in the clubhouse they can figure out, or if it is just as simple as they're chasing balls and just missing. Like,
Boone needs to grab a hold of his cojones,
right,
and say the hell with this MIT stat guy. I'm calling the lineup. I got the eye. I played this game. Statistics out the door because they're not working, bud.
Yeah, and also, I mean, something to consider. Obviously, I mean, the players hit, but I mean, maybe you fire the hitting coach,
Cashman.
Marcus Timms.
What does Cashman do? The rotation is pretty weak after Cole. Tolino.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I mean, it's true, but it's one of those things. I'm just trying to look at this realistically, and as much to my dismay, this year for sure, and really for the next couple of years, Cashman's not going anywhere.
No.
Boone's not going anywhere. So that's why the hitting coach, even though he's a fall guy,
Right.
basically.
Fire somebody is what Barnes saying.
Right.
Get rid of somebody.
But I just feel like the team needs to be shown.
Right.
You're not going to be able to just show up, do nothing, and
Right.
expect
And
nothing
then-
to happen with no consequences.
Exactly. No, that's perfect. Get rid of the bat boys too.
So, and
Yeah,
then,
fire them back.
like I said, I think, bring up some of the guys from the minors and do something, like designate someone for assignment,
Right.
let Odor go already, if
Mhm.
he's not going to do anything.
No, yeah, really. I mean, how many games are we into the season now? Almost 20, I think we're at.
Yeah, we're
15,
17 for them. I mean, it's different.
Right,
obviously,
right.
each
But I
team.
mean, at this point, like I think I said in a previous episode, just do something to shake things up. Like you said, bring
Right.
people up, move people around. Whatever you're doing now, it's just not working. Like,
right.
And whatever you're trying to fix, it's not getting fixed, dude. So it's just like move people around, dude.
Yeah, and it's a shame too because it's not his fault. I mean, you look at his average; it's 270, 280. LeMahieu,
Mm-hmm.
if he was the LeMahieu from last year, they probably would be 500, and it shouldn't be all on him. But he's come up in these clutch situations, and he hasn't done anything.
Mhm.
And he did it all last year, all the year before. So I think he kind of, masked some of these injuries and some of these slump-prone
Right.
hitters that they have on the team.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
But
But now he's not.
yeah.
So you gotta make a move, man.
But what's tough though? I mean, just thinking about it. I mean, Hicks, what does he have? 5 years, $50 million. Stanton's contract's not going anywhere. You have guys who are on arbitration and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's not too many guys on the offense that you could designate for assignment besides Odor and Higashioka.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I mean, obviously, Judge isn't going anywhere.
Mhm.
Torres isn't going anywhere. Gardner? I would love it. But they're not going to designate Gardner for assignment. I mean, we know that. So
True.
it just you're kind of hamstrung based on probably some bad contracts you've given out. So it just comes down to improving within. And tonight, it will be 6:10 at in Cleveland at the I don't know I think it's a Progressive Field now. It used to be Jacobs.
I think it's
The
progressive
Jake,
now.
they always called it. So the one good thing there, I mean, they did sweep that, wild card series there last year. Maybe, something with that. I mean, you're just looking for anything at this point. They do bring back Domingo Germán from the alternate site. Didn't look good his first two starts. He's going to go against Aaron Savale, a guy who we had talked about in our season preview that had struggled last year, had success the year before, and has looked good so far this season.
Yeah, he's at a 2.1 ERA for the season. He's 3-0 on his starts. He has no strikeouts this season now, bud.
Is that even like
That literally says zero. Zero
But
strikeouts.
dude, how many innings?
I don't know.
Or was it really only? It looks like
innings
20
pitched
innings.
20.2 innings this season.
no, but doesn't this say 16 Ks?
Wait, it does.
terrible?
What the fuck, dude?
Score?
The score,
What's going on with
dude.
the score?
What
So
the fuck, guys?
you got to just hope this is the first game of an 8-game road trip. I mean, we get Baltimore after this, but you got to just hope this is the start of something. And before we move on here, I mean, do you think though, besides pressing, another thing is, from what you can tell, a refusal to change their approach at the plate and not do anything differently?
Yeah, no, I still think, I mean, you see guys who are taking these hacks at the ball, they're looking for those home runs. Like, stop that, dude. Like, play some small ball, get on base.
Yeah.
Like,
It just they want a homer. They want it so
want it.
bad.
I don't understand why, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like I said, it's not working. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, because it just and the thing that stinks is though, if you look at it, I mean, like last night, I think they only struck out 6 times. They're not striking out 15 times a game. It's just they're not even besides fouling off pitches, they're not making any solid contact.
I know.
Maybe a couple home runs foul.
Right,
That's about all they're doing.
And if you're not getting on base, what is a solo home run going to do when you're down 4-0? Like,
yeah.
Not much, man.
But I would hope, just at this point, they're sick of it. And they just want to change the narrative around the team.
Right.
So hopefully that'll start 6:10 at Progressive Field tonight. So we will see what happens. And, on the other side of town, the Mets, 16-4 losers to the Cubs yesterday. 4 errors leading to 14 runs in between innings 4 through 7. You look at Peterson's line, 3 1/3, 6 runs, only 3 earned because of those errors, 2 walk, 3 Ks. But despite the fielders not helping him out, he wasn't sharp like he was his previous start. So, is the Cy Young campaign over already, or you think just a blip on the radar?
Come on, just a blip on the radar. We saw him come out. That second outing was phenomenal, So, and again, you got to put the defense into account of this in this outing. Even though he did give up 3 runs, it wasn't horrific.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It didn't live up to his last start.
Right,
It was kind of closer to his first.
So we'll see. Hopefully he's not so up and down for the rest of the season. Kind of starts to get some consistency going. But that's a tough outing. I feel like for any pitcher would be. I'm sure he had many frustrations on the mound and stuff.
Right.
Given the lack of defense.
And you think J.D. Davis, is he a candidate for the Platinum Glove Award winner?
Yeah, definitely, dude. I think the last game with Walker, I think he had 2 errors that led to, could have ended an inning. Instead, he had 2 errors with Walker, and he let up some more runs. And it's just, stuff like that could really just turn the game around.
And then we also have Tolino 99 saying, I'm tired of everyone saying their defense is improved. They still make such bad decisions. What do you think about that?
I don't know if it was so much decision making on the field as was just bad execution. In the 4th, we saw JD had a chance at a double play, and he just bobbles it. I don't know why. It would have ended the inning. It would have only left 1 run coming in. It would have been 2-1 game at that point after the 4th, and we know how the rest of the 4th played out. But it's just what are we doing over there?
Hey, are you concerned JD in the field is turning into a Chuck Knobloch?
I really hope
can't
not.
handle it.
I don't think so. I don't know, man.
Knobloch, wow.
Knobloch, dude. Google that name, Mike.
Dude, I know who he is. Haven't heard that name in 10 years.
I think he was playing the last Yankee game you went to.
Probably, honestly, dude. That's actually funny.
I don't know, man.
Not usually funny.
Yeah, wow, dude.
Wow.
Throwing shade over there for Mike.
It's a call.
Dude, that's tough, dude. I think Brock is funny. Oh, come on. No, honestly, I'm not that worried about it. 2 games. I think in the past 2 games he had 3 errors. I think so. That's kind of tough. But he seems to be positive about it. They interviewed him after the game. Obviously, he knows the mistakes he's made and stuff. So I don't know, man. I think he's just maybe a little nervous, but I wouldn't think too much of it.
And we talked about this before the show. At the end of the day, they're all important aspects of the game, but you would rather deal with this than deal with what I'm dealing with the Yankees. Just
honestly, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had 10 hits last night. You did leave 16 on base, but you had a couple homers. Just saw Lindor finally hit his first home run. Finally have a big game, 3 for 4. And then Alonso, a homer. So hopefully this gets him going. So at least, I would have to say so many more signs of life offensively for the Mets.
Honestly, our offense was great, I thought. It was the offense I thought I hope to have, just unfortunately,
just didn't get a couple, where they had men on.
Right, they had men on, yeah.
But
when
you're chasing
4,
16, Jesus.
It doesn't really matter at that point, when Rojas is putting Guillorme on the mound for the past 2 innings.
And then what are your thoughts tonight? We got 7:40 SNY, the finale in Wrigley. Joey Lucchesi versus Trevor Williams. Are the Cubs getting the brooms out tonight?
No, I don't think so. I'm a little worried about Lucchesi, to be honest. His last outing wasn't that great. What? Sweep. Shut up, Michael. You don't know anything.
I just sense it.
All right, dude. Honestly, if our bats are there, I feel like hopefully, our bullpen does a little bit better of a job backing up with Chessie. I can see him going 5, hopefully.
Yeah.
Stretching it.
Try to limit the runs maybe to 2, and I think our bats will take the rest of it over. Maybe we win 4-2.
You can only hope.
I am hopeful. I'm always hopeful, never fearful.
So, I mean, you obviously would like to salvage one there, and then a big series with the Nationals.
The Nationals
this weekend.
coming up, yeah. And the Nats have been, I'm not that worried about the Nats, honestly. They've
picked it up the last couple
They
of
have
games.
picked it up, but I mean, their pitching has struggled. Their offense has been.
That's actually funny.
Joey Lucchesi is not from my neighborhood, unfortunately. I'm actually not sure where he's from. He's got to be from New York, right? No, I don't know.
I'm not actually sure about
He's
that.
from Newark, California.
Oh,
Wow. Okay,
right?
we were thinking Jersey.
Got you guys on that one, huh?
So we'll see how they finish out the series.
Exactly, dude. I'm not that worried about last night's game. Lindor said it pretty well. They're going to lose. He said last night after the post-game conference that they're going to lose 50 games this season. They're going to win 112, and that's going to be great, because we're going to lose games, but we're going to win.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty
they do
hopeful
say
from
in
him.
baseball,
112 wins I think it's pretty hopeful.
They do say in baseball, though, I mean, for the most part, obviously there are, very rare exceptions. Every team is going to win 50 games, lose 50 games. That's what you do with the other 60.
Exactly.
And that's why we had a 60-game season last year, I guess. To wash that stuff out, who cares? So, we'll see how they do. And like we said, they are going to have that series with the Nationals. And yesterday, Scherzer, a 1-0 victory. Another 1-0 game.
Crazy.
I mean, what's going on? So that was interesting. I think, and Corbin finally turned it around the other night too after a tough outing. We had talked about last week. So I think things are gonna head in the right direction for them as well. And I think they're all gonna be competing. Them, the Nationals, the Braves. I mean, the Braves look terrible, even though they won last night. I mean, Acuna. I mean,
I know
him not being right, and so a lot to be determined, I would say. And then. Today, a little lighter on, we've been talking about these afternoon games. We have one in progress right now. Early 1-0 lead, the Reds over the Diamondbacks. And then also starting in about 15 minutes, we do have Detroit-Pittsburgh. Is that a World Series preview possibly?
Oh, absolutely, dude. That's what I'm rooting for. That's what I bet on.
Other than that, no games till 7. Or actually, no, the Yankees at 6:10 and then some games at 7. So a little bit of a later slate today, and we'll see what happens. And like I always say, hopefully it's a Mets win, Yankees win day after getting a double loser yesterday. You'd think we're due for it.
Since you started saying that, the Mets have been losing, by the way. I'm just saying.
Jinxing it.
Oh my God.
You are. You're the jinx, man.
Before we close this out, I'd just like to say, no matter what sport we're talking about, and I don't care what anybody says here, okay?
We're getting real.
There's no such thing as a jinx. And a jinx is for losers who make excuses on why things don't go their way. You want to talk about a jinx? How about you go take care of business and win the game, and then there's no talk about a jinx, is there? Okay?
No.
So I don't need to hear this, all right? So
Chris Barnes is
just
not
wanted to put that 2
superstitious,
cents
huh?
out there.
Wow,
No.
Good for you.
But I think that's a good way to end it. Setting the tone. Moving forward, none of this jinx
None of this
nonsense.
jinx talk. Yeah, Mike. Put a pipe in it, all right?
But
We'll
hey,
see if they keep losing.
But despite the tough times locally, I think
losing.
once again, a great segment, and
a little bit sadder than I wanted it
Yeah,
to be, but nonetheless, dude.
we'll see it improve over the coming weeks. I'm
Hell
confident
yeah.
on that. So, quick break, and we'll get Grasso in for some NBA.
Yo.
And we're back, ready to talk some basketball. What's going on, Grasso?
Barnes, thanks for having me.
Of course. And, as always, last night was an interesting night in the world of the National Basketball Association.
The Bulls go. LeBron James at the buzzer. He banks in the three, and the Lakers win the game.
Haven't heard that in a while.
But we're going to hear it tonight. We'll get into that in a little bit. So, looking at the games from last night, we'll start. Suns 116-113 over the Sixers. So another big win for the Suns. But we didn't know this when we talked about this yesterday, that Harris, Simmons, and Curry were all out for the Sixers. So, of course, your back's against the wall when you're missing all those guys. And I thought it was impressive that they hung tight the whole game. And Embiid, once again, 38 points, 17 boards, and was a rim out away from tying it at the buzzer, a full court heave. Imagine if he had made that shot.
Maybe one of the greatest shots in history, if you think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
On the clock when he got that ball, just chuck it full court. That would have been great. But, Embiid was amazing last night, like we've seen all season. But, this game was back and forth. There's never a big lead ever in this game. It happened about 6 minutes left. Javon Carter got back-to-back corner threes, and that was the biggest lead, I think, like 6 or 7 points. And, the Sixers couldn't quite get back. And we talked about this the other day. Devin Booker, he struggled, but when it came down to it, he made the shots when it mattered. So, that's the signs of a superstar there.
But I still, I don't know. He just confuses me a little bit. I just don't get why it's so hard for him to get consistency with efficiency with him. He's just a streaky shooter. Is it that simple?
Yeah, I think there's some of that, and he does see a lot of double teams, and that's still going on. But when it comes down to it, he's making the shots. So
yeah, he's one of my favorite players. Yeah. Love seeing him play. It's hard not to be obsessed with 3-point shooting, especially the way the league is. So I just envision him as a guy that can lead the league in 3-point percentage and possibly one of these days break Curry's 3-point record. He's still very young, so the ceiling I think is unlimited for Devin Booker.
Yeah, it's hard to shoot that high of a percentage when you shoot so many, but Curry's an anomaly in that situation.
Yeah, and it's still, I still can't believe how good he is, honestly. Just thinking about him back at Davidson and just what he does now. And then having that hand surgery, just like it never happened. Nerves, anytime you're talking about nerves and you're a shooter, your hand, that's everything. It doesn't even affect him.
No, he completely changed the game. Greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it goes without saying. So, all in all, I think, there's nothing to be ashamed of here for the Sixers other than you couldn't pull it out at the end. You had a shot to tie it. But when you're playing shorthanded against arguably the most talented team in the whole league, I think that's all you could ask for. Chris Paul, another big game, 28 and 8. And Ayton, which didn't surprise me, didn't have a big game, 10 and 5. He's going against Embiid. I kind of figured, the veteran would kind of, toss him around a little bit.
Yeah, tough night for him, but most people do have a tough night against Embiid. But, I thought it was good the Sixers, some of these guys that don't get as many minutes, got some more important minutes, fourth quarter minutes. So that can only help you going forward into the playoffs.
And then Danny Green keeps the good times rolling,
Danny Green, man, he is shell of 2014 out here. Danny Green, he's hot. And you know what? Keep shooting him, Danny.
Yeah. It's just the way the league is, especially, there's no such thing as a team having too many shooters. They're so valuable. It's insane.
That's why he's here. He's here to make threes and play defense.
And when he signed that contract, because he's still on the contract from the Lakers, I think it was 2 years, $30 million. But it's like, so a guy that all he does, he's a borderline starter, is just shoot threes and play some defense, is a $15 million player. That just shows the value of those skills.
Yeah, look at the contract Joe Harris signed.
Yeah.
And that's over the offseason. I think he was close to 20 mil.
Yeah.
Shooting is valuable. Duncan Robinson's going to get paid this offseason.
Yeah, he's another guy, a great story. So I think all in all, both teams have to be happy with the efforts here, and you just move on from here. And who knows, we could see this matchup down the line. That would be a great matchup in the finals. Just so much star power.
I would love to see this as a finals matchup.
Yeah. So we will, we'll see what happens, and, we'll see what happens with the Sixers going forward. After the loss, half game, ahead of the Nets for first in the East. Bucks 3.5 back. So lot left still to be determined. So we'll see, where they fall in the standings. And then the other game from last night, once again, the Knicks 137-127, 8th straight win. They trailed by 7 points going into the fourth quarter and just, dominated the overtime period. Julius, 40 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 of 8 from 3. I mean, this guy is on fire. And I know he's not going to get it, but Mike said this the other day. I mean, he is deserving of some MVP recognition. Just the impact that he's made on this team this year. I think you take him off this team and they might have 20 wins right now.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Bottom of the conference. For sure.
So, I mean, let's hear it, Mike. What were your overall impressions?
I mean, at this moment, are we even surprised anymore, boys? I mean, the Knicks are just rolling. Granted, Trae Young got hurt in the third quarter, but the Knicks were actually, the momentum had shifted already.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
It was going to be over. It would have been a closer game, obviously, with Trae in there. But, I mean, dude, they're just so good. And when Quickly looks more confident every game, dude, pulling up deep, coming off screens, pulling up.
Yeah.
The whole team's playing together. I mean, who would have thunk it that your defensive anchors would be Taj Gibson and Nervous Nerlens doing the job?
Yeah. And then how about bombs away from 3-point range, 19 of 35?
I know. We haven't seen this ever.
Think the Knicks, I think, are 6th in the league in 3-point percent, something like that.
They boosted that because they were last to start the season.
Did they bring on Steve Novak as an assistant shooting coach?
yeah, exactly. Discount, double check.
But really, really impressive. And I'm impressed with Quickly because I feel like he hit a little bit of kind of a rough spot.
Yeah.
He's recovered the last few games.
Yeah, what do they call that? The mid-season thing for the rookies?
Yeah,
rookie wall, I guess you could say. Yeah.
The Knicks, when Derrick Rose and when IQ, they could score off the bench like this, they're so hard to beat because the defense is there every night. And when they could score 120 points, it's like the Knicks can shoot.
Yeah.
We just got to start giving them credit for that. And like you said about Julius Randle, those MVP chants he gets pretty much every night in the Garden are legitimate right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really deny it. He's doing it every single night.
We've talked about it so many times. It's a shame the way that things go. He has no shot at the MVP, but he really is probably deserving as anyone.
Yeah.
Just because of impact.
It's crazy.
I mean, you have to look at it probably impact-wise. Him and Chris Paul probably have the most impact on their teams this season.
Yeah, and the way Julius has kind of transformed his game to be more modern, to play on the perimeter and do all these things. I mean, he's a superstar in this league right now. He's playing like one. And, I think all NBA teams, when the season finishes, will show that. I think he'll be first or second team.
Oh, yeah. Second at a minimum. And he really should sweep the voting for most improved. I mean, it's rigged if he doesn't win it. Or
if he doesn't win it, it's don't even at me.
Yeah. So the Knicks, that was actually their – oh, no, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, we got a 2-game break, which is nice. Yeah. That's what you want. 8 wins.
Yeah, 2-game break after 8 wins. And then
have a night off.
The Raptors coming to town on Saturday. So really, I mean, that's another night off.
Yeah.
They should be able to take care of business there.
Yeah.
And then in this one, this was their 3rd win over Atlanta this season. So they sweep the season series. I think something they hadn't done in a while.
And that's big because those two teams right now, 4 and 5.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have
so if they tie,
tiebreaker,
then they do get the higher seed.
So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking they're almost, pretty kind of cemented. I mean, I know it's close, but like I really see them being the 4th seed now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna be in that 4 or 5. I mean, they're definitely not playing in the play-in game.
Yeah,
sure.
Which is nice. A nice sense of relief for them. And you mentioned it too. Kind of the same situation as Quickly. Rose, injured, struggled a couple games. Now he's had a couple back-to-back as well. Them going off the bench. I mean, it's everything they need. Really.
Yeah, those two guys are meant to be scorers, and that's what they've been doing, and it's working because the Knicks are winning. Yeah,
so I hope, like I said, a little while ago, that Rose, big playoff series and hits a buzzer beater or something. And the guy really deserves it, all the work he's put in. And, obviously a tough win for the Hawks here after controlling it, or loss for the Hawks after controlling it early. Hopefully Young's okay. Hopefully his ankle's just a little banged up.
Yeah.
But I think they're still going to finish strong here. And you look at this too, Capella, 25 and 22. I mean, he just keeps doing it every night.
Yeah, and it just makes you think why the Rockets traded him. That's all I could think about when I see Clint Capella have these big games. And think of if Capella and Harden stuck together, they'd probably have a ring. But
and I forgot, since he's came over, did they give him a contract extension, or is he going to be a free agent?
I think he's got a couple more years left on his contract.
Oh, because the Rockets had signed him to a contract extension.
Either the Hawks re-signed him or the Rockets signed him right before they traded him.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's what happened because the Hawks wouldn't have re-signed.
But I mean, it's
like
just
that.
it's crazy with all sports really. These extensions, it's like it seems like every time another team ends up paying the extension. You know, I mean, we saw how quick Blake Griffin got traded. I mean, it was like a max 5-year deal. Not even a year later, they trade him. You know, same thing with Westbrook as well with the Thunder. So and Harden too with the Rockets with his contract.
A lot of big contracts don't work out, but
yeah, kind of how it is. So, we'll see how that race in the East plays out, and then looking forward to tonight. We do have some pretty good matchups, and we'll start actually. The Lakers are going to travel to Dallas, and AD is back in the lineup. You're
buzzing, aren't you, Barnes?
Hasn't played since February 14th. I mean, I just need some good sports news. I mean, I'm just dying for it. So love to see that. So I think that's going to be a big boost for them. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, they talk about really just, riding the season out. They've alternated wins and losses 12 straight games. So kind of staying where you need to be. But now, especially having AD back is kind of where you need to make a run. But it's going to be tough here because, I mean, well, we've kind of criticized Dallas a lot for uneven play this year. At the end of the day, I mean, it's not an easy opponent, just because you're going against Luka, KP if he's going to be out there. So they're going to play them back-to-back games. They'll play them today and then play them on Saturday, both on the road. So that's not an easy spot. But they played earlier this year, back in December. And obviously, LeBron was playing back then, but they blew him out 138-115. So I think, the key for the Lakers here is, and I know first game back is always going to be tough, but get Davis going early. I think the Dallas, a front court there, I mean, they're not going to be able to stop him, even if he's coming back from injury. I think he could play 25 minutes to score 30 points. I mean, I don't think they have anything there, honestly.
Yeah, and it's his first night back. I don't think he's going to play too much, but I think the Lakers will get a little bit of a surge from this.
Yeah,
boost of energy. Yeah. I think they'll come out a little bit.
Yeah, the buzz faster. The Yankees need.
It'll be about the tone, Barnes. Yeah. It'll be the tone.
Yeah,
the Lakers will have the tone, and I think he'll have some big numbers. I think in limited minutes, maybe 20 minutes, he might score 20 points against the Mavericks.
Yeah.
The Mavericks are one of those teams that you don't really trust.
No.
They have nights where they look like they're a championship contender, and then they have nights where they look like that's not even a playoff team.
But do you think, besides the supporting cast, another big thing is Luka with the efficiency and the turnovers? Do you think that kind of hurts them a lot, even despite how well he plays in the other areas of his game?
Yeah, I mean, I just think he needs help, and we talk about Jalen Brunson a lot on the show, and when he has those games and Luka is able to play off the ball a little bit, he plays a lot better, but. If Brunson's struggling and really no one else on his team is doing anything, Luka's got it all on his shoulders. So
I mean, you look Dallas. I mean, they're kind of doing the same thing, like treading water. 5-5 in their last 10. They only have a 500 record at home. So this is a big game for both teams, and they don't know if they're going to have Porzingis. I guess he's questionable rest, diva. But I have to say, it's not a Kawhi situation. I've actually always loved Porzingis, but I just, what I mean? It's like, when is he going to just play 70 games in a season and we're not going to have to hear him? And just, what I mean? I'm just sick of the whole sideshow. Just go out there, play the way you're supposed to play, and be the player that you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, that was stuff that was said about Embiid early on in his career, so hopefully that's the same thing, because now you see Embiid plays pretty much every night unless he's actually hurt. So...
And who knows? I mean, maybe he just needs some type of run, whether it's down the stretch this season or a surprise win in the first round of the playoffs. And maybe that just kind of gets him going and gets him with the right attitude because they need him. I mean, they just, what I mean? With him not being himself, I mean, that really puts this team down a notch.
Yeah, and right now, Portland in that 6th seed kind of struggling. Dallas is in prime position to take over and get out of that play-in situation. So, these are important games for Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think this should be, an interesting matchup. And I'll start with you. I mean, how do you see this one going?
I think the Lakers are going to win this game. I don't think by much. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I don't know, give me Lakers 110, Mavericks 102.
Okay. All right.
little low scoring.
And I know what we're gonna hear here, but we'll do it anyway. What do we got?
I have an announcement.
Oh.
A 50-point trip dub game-winning step back from Luka Doncic. Okay, on AD on the sideline watching.
Maybe Luka will be watching after he fouls out on the sideline as AD hits it, but
No.
I think this is going to be relatively close. Give it 110, 103, but I think the Lakers get this one done, and I think in limited minutes, Davis shows his impact, and it'll be interesting to see how they defend him and Drummond being in the game at the same time. I mean, I think they could just pound it down low.
Mountain Drummond
after a big game over the weekend.
He's going to get nervous with AD on the floor with him. He's never been on the floor with someone that good. He's not going to know what to do. He's going to get the yips.
But I would say
he might sprain his toe again. He might lose a pinky nail.
I would say at least 20 and 10 for Drummond, and Lakers get back on track. And I of course, I can't wait, but to see LeBron back in the lab. I mean, it feels like it's been years since he's played. So we know that'll be sooner than later. We know he'll be right and ready to answer the call like he always does. So not worried about that. And it just would be nice to get a win here and see something positive out of AD and just get a good. That's the most important part. Obviously, you want to win, but I think the most important part is that AD is himself, and there's no, he's not still recovering from this latest setback. So we will see. And then another game, Sixers get right back to it tonight, traveling to Milwaukee.
I can't wait.
So they're expected to get Seth Curry back to play. And from what I'm seeing, Simmons and Harris questionable. I don't know if you've seen anything else on their status at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust any of the injury reports I see anymore.
Yeah,
so
don't go ESPN.com, by the way, anybody, if you're ever
they're
looking.
about 3 days off.
I would go Sports Edge and any of your fantasy basketball apps. That's the best way to go.
Yeah, I mean, they better hope they have Simmons and Harris in this game because they're coming off that tough one against Phoenix last night. The legs might be a little tired tonight. Milwaukee didn't play, so they better hope they have Simmons and Harris because they're going to need some extra scoring tonight. That's for sure. But hey, Embiid's been phenomenal all year. I don't see anyone. I mean, they're going to put Giannis on him, maybe Brook Lopez, but I don't see anyone stopping Embiid tonight.
You think they're going to be matched up a ton in the paint tonight?
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I think the Bucks, they might put Brook Lopez on him. Just, I don't know, to save Giannis, but
Splash Mountain?
Yeah, Splash Mountain. But I think Embiid's going to go to work tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, could see that happening. And I think when you look at the Sixers, I mean, their record reflects it. When they control that turnover battle, they have success. They're 21-7 when they have, fewer turnovers than their opponent. So it's key kind of that. But obviously, it's hard to do that if you're missing guys like Simmons and Harris. So, but you kind of think, I mean, their injuries don't seem like they're too bad. So you would think they would play tonight. I mean, I know we never really know in the NBA these days, but you would kind of think that with a big matchup on the road here.
Yeah, I mean, Simmons was illness is what they called it. So, I mean, you usually think that's either like a rest day or a guy's hungover or something. But
I mean, he was probably partying in Phoenix. I mean,
probably.
Yeah.
But Harris was a sore knee.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already missed a few games, but yeah, I mean, it's not a serious injury. If he needs another night out, it is what it is.
And I think Seth Curry, other than, the big three, I mean, he's probably their most important player. So not having him last night, I think, was huge kind of for them to make up for,
Yeah, I mean, when Curry plays well and shooting the ball well, his team, they don't lose.
Yeah, just don't have him guarding Steph. It'll be all right. And then these teams did play back March 17th, and the Bucks did win 109-105. So be interesting to see at home here. And it's funny, home, a place where they normally have been good, but if they were to drop this one, it would be their 6th straight home loss, 3rd straight overall. So they're looking to right the ship themselves. They've had a good season, but this is where, something could happen if you keep dropping games like this.
Yeah, I do think Milwaukee will come out on top tonight, though. I think, Sixers are going to be a little slow.
Yeah.
Tired legs from last night. Look for big games from Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. But I think the Bucks, they'll finally get right at home.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to be too sleepy, have too many brats and cheese out there in Milwaukee. But those are very good, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been in Milwaukee.
I have not.
I was there a few years ago, went to Packers preseason and a baseball game at Miller Park.
Nice.
And I have to say, those brats, I mean, in the cheese curds, they do it right over there. So
if I get out there, I'll make sure to try them.
And saw the Bradley Center from the outside, and now of course they have the new arena, so definitely would be cool to check that out for sure. So, Mike, what do you see here? I mean, I know what you see, but I'll give it to you anyway.
You could put Lopez, Giannis, Fanis. It doesn't matter. My boy Embiid, he's coming for Giannis tonight. I'm going to see another 50-point game, this time over here, and you're going to get at least a 10-point win from the Sixers. They're going to rally, and they're going to prove that this Bucks team is nothing. And I can't wait.
I'd love to see that.
And I hope Giannis guards him the whole time. But, Giannis is known to be a flake. He doesn't play man-to-man defense. He likes to come and get the blocks from the weak side. He's not like a LeBron who steps up to the challenge. That's another reason why he's not on a level of, I'd say, a Kawhi.
Who is a LeBron, though? You know what I mean? That's the thing.
All right. Well,
okay. This tone again.
It's going to be, I think we might have a whole episode when LeBron comes back. Just dedicated to LeBron.
But, that's one thing I have to say I will never lose confidence in with LeBron. I mean, it doesn't matter, he's out this injury, that it doesn't matter. I mean, he just always answers the call. So I know that's what's going to happen. I think that's something, I have more confidence than anything. So can't wait to see him back. But looking at this game, I mean, like I said, I think Simmons and Harris will play. But I just think the Bucks are due to right the ship, and it's a tough. I mean, the Sixers could you have a tougher back-to-back for the Sixers?
Yeah, two of the best teams in the league, and then they get one night off and they play the Bucks again. So
yeah. I mean, that's a crazy schedule, but maybe that'll help them, going into the playoffs. So I do think it should be somewhat tight, but I'll give it Bucks 120. Sixers 109, and I think they pull away late, and the combination of Giannis driving to the basket as well as getting their 3-point shooters out in space is key here. So I think they're going to win this one and get off their home losing streak, which has been pretty tough and uncharacteristic for this team. So
for any team, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what happens, and day by day we get closer to the NBA playoffs, which we all agree we can't wait for.
Can't wait.
Is there a set date for this play-in tournament? I'm guessing.
I don't know.
It's got to be. I would say less than a month. I mean, it's probably mid-May.
We'll definitely be doing a live watch party for the first playoff game. Play in, play out, play in, whatever.
In this play, it's just
we're there.
This is just a one-game situation, right?
The 9 and 10 seed will have to win 2 games in a row. 7 and 8 would only have to win 1.
That's epic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That'll be interesting.
It's pretty stupid.
But you guys think, honestly, that after this year they're going to just go back to the regular thing?
They have.
There's been a lot of pushback.
And go back to the East versus West in the All-Star game, please.
Yes.
Yeah, please. That's
no fantasy draft. Enough with the fantasy draft.
Yeah, it's so
dumb.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no buzz.
And you know what? For the next year, they should go back to to rehash and restart it. And we'll leave on this maybe, but All-Star game next weekend. Bring back where they wore their jerseys for the team. East versus West.
That was sick.
That would be sick.
And then get the shooting stars back.
Yes.
There, okay?
Yes.
That adds another element.
The legends out there. Yeah.
I don't know if we need a Charles Barkley and Dick Bavetta race. I think they can hold off on that. But I would like to see the shooting stars. Definitely.
I was watching Ice Cube talk about the Big Three, and they have this new mode in the game, in their games, because it's not basketball. He doesn't call it basketball. It's like another form of a sport.
They have like 4-point shots and all
4-point shots, and then there's one where it's like if a guy's on fire or whatever, I forgot what makes him on fire, maybe hits 3 in a row or something, he can call a 1-on-1.
What? ISO Joe must be licking his lips.
Dude, so they should do a 1-on-1 tournament too in the All-Star weekend.
I know players have talked about that. I know Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum said they want.
Because that's dope. You've seen the dudes on Team USA, those YouTube videos of them just like getting on the block or whatever and the hash and just going 1-on-1 at each other. It's epic.
So that should be interesting. One other thing I just have to think of here before we close out. I'm sure you guys remember the a few years back All-Star weekend, Kevin Hart, Draymond Green 3-point shootout where they actually tied. Any chance we get a rematch of that? Or you think Draymond's still tight about how that went?
I think Draymond might lose if they do it again. So I don't think.
Do you think that was definitely real though? It would, he really couldn't beat Kevin Hart.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You're kind of 50-50 there.
Kevin Hart did play high school ball.
And he's got a hoop at his house.
And Draymond
hoops a
Green
lot.
is terrible
Terrible.
at three-point shooting. So,
I mean, he really is.
Inconsistent.
But you know what? I think for him, I mean, step up to the plate and be an actor in a three-point shootout.
Yeah, come on, Draymond.
It's like insane. So hopefully we get the buzz back at All-Star Weekend next year. We'll see what happens. But as always, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here, and thank you to those watching on Optimum and Frontier, and again, of course, thank you to Soundview Media. And that will do it for today. And as always, comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Peace.